All right, we're live. I think we are live in
Sweet.
both places. So, good afternoon. If you are watching this on Instagram Live or you're here with us on YouTube Live, welcome. We've got some big announcements to make from the reverseselling.com camp. So, we appreciate your time and attention, and I promise we won't waste it. So before we dive in, looks like I don't know, a couple hundred people are on this with us right now. So
Yep.
Colton, just want to make sure you've got the YouTube feed up and ready to go, correct?
We are rocking and rolling, man. Everything's looking good over here.
Okay. So here's how today's broadcast is going to go. I'm going to give the audience just a huge update on what we've been working on. We'll get through some of the details. And as you're watching this, if you have questions, what we'll do is afterwards, Colt and I will go back into the live stream comments and we'll answer everybody's question before we end this live stream. So if you have questions, feel free. You can throw them in the chat right now if you're watching this live on YouTube. And after we get through a couple of exciting things, we'll unpack every single one of them. So, what are we here to talk about? Some of you saw maybe an update or a post that I put out last night announcing that we have finally launched our private mastermind. Now, the important thing is, what is this thing? What are we doing? Why is this important? Why are we announcing it the way that we're doing right now? Well, here's kind of what has happened over the last 5, 6, 7 years is for the most part, we've had these small exclusive interactions, I'll call them, with people that are involved with us in a coaching relationship. And some of those things have been our in-person live mastermind summits that we run every single year. Now, those have been phenomenal, and we will continue to do those. However, the viability for thousands and thousands and thousands of people here in this entire reverse selling community, those that maybe buy into the methodology here on YouTube or on Instagram, the viability of traveling across the country here to Detroit for most people just isn't an option. It could be very, very expensive. And I understand that. And what we would do in those live events, Colton, as you would know, is, or we've got somebody on Instagram right now saying, yeah, it'd be tough for me to get there from South Africa. Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. And what we do at those live events every year is we get into very deep mastermind sessions. What that means is this: we will have people that are succeeding at the highest level, and we will share the best practices that are working in every market across the country to build a listing based business. And so we said, okay, that is a great experience for the people that are able to attend those live events every year. But what if we created a world where we could have those mastermind events on a continuous basis and everybody could enjoy those, Colton, from the comfort of their own home, which we'll talk about more in just a second. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to launch our private mastermind. And again, we'll get into all the details with you guys in just a second. The other reason is, we believe in, well, I'll say it like this. The reality is there are many ways to succeed in this business of real estate sales. Many ways. And we wanted to bring together the most intimate setting for real estate agents, team leaders, broker owners. It didn't matter what hat you wore, whether or not you were involved with us from a coaching relationship or not. We wanted to be able to bring people together in a world where they could have a different perspective on the business, so that people inside of this private mastermind would be able to learn from multiple different perspectives of people that are winning in this business at the highest level. That means people that are winning through outbound prospecting. That means that it's people that are winning at the highest level through inbound lead generation. That means people that have succeeded at the highest level building teams and brokerages and different models that we want to bring to the forefront in this industry. And so this private mastermind will do just that. Again, we'll get into the details of how that looks in just a second. And then the third thing I would add is, from a business perspective, we've been coaching agents for a long, long time. However, the other, I think, challenge for us as a business is we have training content and methodologies that kind of have been on the shelf gathering some dust. And we've been kind of thinking about, okay, how do we get this in the hands of the people here in the audience? And for the longest time, you, myself, and other people on the team were considering getting into, in addition to the coaching business, getting into the online course business. And there was pros and cons to that. And one of the things we said was, wouldn't it be incredible if we created the very first Netflix of real estate training? And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is exactly what we have done. We believe that we have the very first Netflix of real estate training. What that means is something we're going to get into here in just a second. Colton, you want to add anything to that as to why we decided to launch this private mastermind?
You really hit it. I mean, another big part of it was just, the meeting of minds. What is a mastermind, right? Like, part of the reason we want the mastermind to be called a mastermind isn't just for, Brandon to teach a bunch of really cool stuff. Well, he is going to, and there's a lot of really cool stuff in there, but a master.
Oh, that's what happens sometimes when you do a live stream. So let me grab Colton back and we'll get him back on.
I'm back. I don't know what happened there.
The tech man, that is what happens when you go live. Hey, that's the name of the game we're in. So anyway, yeah, the meeting of the minds, the community where brand new agents, experienced agents, team leaders, brokers, assistants, ISAs, it doesn't matter what hat you wear in this business. I think what you were saying is our vision for this mastermind is to bring these people together so everybody could learn from one another, regardless of where you're at in your journey. Was that fair?
Said it better than I was going to. Absolutely.
So those are the reasons why we decided to launch this private mastermind. And what I want to do now for everybody that's in the live audience, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to walk you through everything that our members inside of this private mastermind, what it is that they gain access to. And so as you have questions, as we go through what we call our member benefits, if you have questions about any one of them, just throw them in the chat and we will come back to them in just a second. So Colton, why don't we get through, first and foremost, why don't we go through our masterclass vault and talk about this for a second?
Absolutely.
So can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, we can see it perfect.
Okay. So one of the things, just like I was talking about, is people who join this private mastermind, they get access to our masterclass vault. And as an example, if you're looking at my screen now, you can see some of the content in which you will have access to. And the idea of this masterclass vault is that we want to create a training hub the same way you do when you log into Netflix and you have all these different movies and series and documentaries and comedies and all this endless amount of content at your fingertips. Well, instead of us getting into the online course business, we said, what if our members of the mastermind gained access to all of our online training courses, both now and in the future? Because what it is that I'm doing on a monthly basis is I'm creating these online courses that our members get access to every single month. And we have a lot of content that will be rolled out over the next couple of years, but just imagine a world for a second that you can log in to a private training portal and learn about any topic you could ever think of when it comes to building your real estate sales business. And instead of buying one online course that maybe would be $400, $500, $600, you get access to all of our online courses. And members that are with us both now and in the future, every month we release one of those online courses. And so I think the important thing is for me and you, I think we're both, I would call us both course junkies.
Yep.
And instead of people out there having, again, I didn't necessarily want to get into the course business because really information without implementation is really just mental masturbation, right? I mean, that's just really what it is. And so we wanted to have a controlled environment where as you're learning information through access to an unlimited fire hose of, or not fire hose, fire hydrant, drinking from a fire hose, whatever they want to call it. As you're getting access to so much information, we would have a community that could support you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It really does. And a couple of the other things that are included in this that we'll go into are also designed to help you stay accountable and actually begin to implement. And a second ago, I chuckled. It's hard not to read some of these comments. JP Smith commented on the Netflix thing. He's like, it's Netflix, only it prints money for you, right? Which is
it's so good.
It's so true. Yeah. That's awesome.
So good. All right. So we'll come back and we'll answer any questions. The next thing I want to talk about is the other main reason, Colton, why we did this, which is our virtual live mastermind events. Yep. So here's the deal. Every single month, members inside of this private mastermind will be able to, instead of flying to Detroit, having to get a hotel room, have to incur all of these costs, they can sit at home and we are going to be, well, we will have live virtual mastermind events every single month. In fact, there's one Tuesday next week where what we do every month is we grab one of the country's top producing real estate salespeople. Maybe that's me, maybe that's someone else. And we go super deep on a specific topic. Now, that's all fine and dandy. However, the thing that we love about this, it's one thing to listen and receive information. But the great thing about live events, in-person events, is you got to interact with the person who is sharing all of their best practices. You're able to engage. You're able to ask that person questions. Well, that is exactly what is going to happen with these live virtual masterminds every month as well. So not only will you get the best practices from the country's top real estate agents every single month, you'll be able to engage with these people in these events. You'll be able to ask them your personalized question. You'll be able to say, well, what about this? And what about that? Or I'm dealing with this. How have you dealt with that when you first got started? Because that was the feedback, Colton, that we got for a long time with our live events. It was all the conversations off stage that people really valued. So that is what I think people really love about our live virtual mastermind events. Yep. Now, the next thing that our members will have access to is our monthly game film reviews. So historically, as you know, Colton, some of the greatest coaching or mentoring that I could ever offer to a real estate salesperson is the review of them on the field playing. So let me get real specific. What that means is this. Every month, members from our mastermind are dropping their actual prospecting calls into our game film Dropbox. They're dropping recordings of them on actual buyer consultations, listing consultations. And every month, I go into this Dropbox and I do a full-blown coaching breakdown of their entire sales call, their entire sales meeting. And I'm able to give them play-by-play feedback on their entire real-world interaction with a real prospect or real client that the entire mastermind gets to benefit from. So as an example, if Colton were to drop his call with a for sale by owner that he had this morning, and I review his entire call and I break down that call. I put it into audio and video format. And then, as you know, Colton, we drop that into the mastermind once a month so that everybody in the mastermind can go and watch this game film session of me breaking down a real prospecting call, me breaking down a real listing presentation. Your thoughts or anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I mean, especially in the beginning here, like some of the best coaching, Brandon, you've ever given us on the team, even internally, has been like direct reviews of some of our calls and things. And like, it's just easier to connect the dots when you have a live example. And so it's going to be really good coaching.
Well, yeah, and I think that even just for the agent that maybe a newer agent who's kind of just getting going, who really hasn't even made maybe any prospecting phone calls, this might be perfect for that person to see, okay, what do these conversations sound like in the real world? And then
Hmm.
how can I learn from other people's mistakes? That's the other value of a mastermind. A
Yeah.
great mastermind is one where each other are willing to lay on grenades for one another. That's the whole goal of learning from others, because why? People have walked before us. Success leaves clues. So if we can break down a call of somebody, and there's a lot of great calls, and there's a lot of calls that have the opportunity for us to even get better, everybody gets to learn from that. Everybody in their next phone call can take away practical coaching opportunities into their very next conversation. All right, let's keep moving forward. So, the next thing that members will gain access to is our listing agent lounge. So, essentially, this is our private Facebook group for members only. And essentially, what happens in here, as you can look at my screen right now, is this is where the networking is happening. This is where a lot of the feedback is happening. This is where members are posting what's happening in their real business right now, getting real time feedback from people inside of this private community. This is where people are posting YouTube content or looking to get feedback on that content, posting live calls. And also, this is the other added benefit. All of our private mastermind members get a front row seat into our daily podcast show before it goes live, before it goes on YouTube, before it goes on Spotify. And the reason we do this, Colton, as you know, is we wanted to give people inside of the mastermind the opportunity to contribute to the conversation, to engage in the conversation with the things that are happening in our industry. And so instead of always being a spectator, we wanted to give the people the opportunity inside of the mastermind to participate. So you could do all kinds of things inside of our private Facebook group. I think that for me, and I want to get your feedback on this too. For me, if I'm an agent in Dallas, Texas, maybe I could see, okay, what are people across the country doing to create the best inbound lead generation content? What are people around the country doing to convert at their open houses? What are people around the country doing to convert on their video text message campaigns? So on and so forth. This is the opportunity for people without having to travel across the country to get that feedback, to have those conversations, to network, to meet other top agents across the country. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and kind of goes into, like with our traditionally a lot of our coaching primarily has been focused on direct outbound prospecting. So, our level 2 coaching program and that Facebook group that comes over on that side of things is really focused on the direct outbound stuff. Whereas this, we're going to try and encompass all of these other strategies that Brandon, you've used in the past to grow your business, and that a lot of the agents coming into the mastermind are using to succeed with, are bringing to the table. And so we're really trying to help you guys add more pillars to the business, be really well rounded. And it's just a good place, like you were saying, to get feedback on stuff. If you get a text from a client and like, hey, how would you guys respond to this? Or, people are already pairing up for, for role playing and accountability. And so there's a lot of different things that are going to be able to go on in there.
Yeah. And the next thing that people will have that we've gotten feedback that members absolutely love is one of the things I know you're most excited about is our monthly done for you content pack. So for every agent out there, one of the hardest things for you to do when it comes to content creation is, what do I say? What do I write? What do I put into this letter? So every month, you can read it on the screen too. I know you probably know how to read, but every month our members receive a done for you content pack, which includes 4 weekly emails to send out to your database. Colt and I will write the entire thing for you. All you have to do is copy and paste that email to send out to your entire client database. This also includes a monthly database letter that Colton and I will write for you. So if you have a past client or center of influence database, which I hope that you do, one of the things that we know we ought to be doing is farming the database, marketing to the database, communicating to the database. The question is always how? What do I send? What do I say? Well, we write that letter for you so that you know exactly what to send. In addition to the 4 weekly emails, in addition to the monthly database letter, we will also write 4 YouTube titles for you every month so that you know exactly what type of video content to make in your business. In addition to that, I will also design your thumbnails for you to match those titles. And so the goal of our done for you content pack is to create a world where you don't have to think about it. All you have to do is take action, take the content that we've done for you and just copy and paste. We've taken the thinking out of it. And so that's what the hardest part is, I think, for a lot of agents, Colton.
Well, and too, like when you go to make content or make a video on Facebook or on YouTube or send out a weekly email, the mistake I see a lot of agents make is they're trying to come up with something different for each of those platforms. So the way we've designed this is everything is in alignment. So the YouTube title and topic and the thumbnail corresponds with the weekly email. And so any content you make, it's like you've already got it all in a line and you just distribute it across the different platforms.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so we'll get through this and then I want to open this up for some Q&A. So here's probably the thing that I'm most excited about. So this was a thing long in the making. We've spent lots of money trying to create this thing and we finally landed. We finally made it happen. And that is our sales tracking software called Saleslytics. And so our members inside of the mastermind will have access to Saleslytics. Saleslytics is, in my opinion, the best tracking software in the industry that will continue to get better. And here's the best part about it. The reason I say that is this. Let me show you guys what it is. Inside of here is a leaderboard based on everybody inside of the mastermind, where you can see how everybody in the mastermind is performing. We had an agent last week make over $100,000 this week in commissions. You can go through every major KPI or key performance indicator in our real estate sales business: hours prospected, dials, contacts, appointments set, appointments met, so on and so forth, and see, okay, how are people in this mastermind performing? Oh my gosh, Tori, you're doing a great job. Let me make a post and ask Tori, how in the world were you able to set 5 listing appointments this week? How are you able to do that? Maybe you go to commissions earned and you say, okay, I want to maybe have a post for everybody who's made $20,000 or more this week. I can get some direct feedback from those people that are executing this way. So this is something I know, Colton, you are super excited about as well. And I know there's a lot of nuts and bolts to it, but this is something I think people are really, really excited about.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the pieces that a lot of agents want is, there's 2 sides of it. We want to be held accountable and we want transparency, but we also don't want to be babysat either, right? And so I feel this solves for that. There's transparency, like you said, with the nuts and bolts. You can see what everybody's doing. You can look at each individual day of every agent. And so talk about accountability and transparency without being, babysat all day and being, checking in on you,
Yeah.
like you probably don't want.
Well, and yeah, that's one side of it. And then the other side, and then we'll move on, is how are you're competing with yourself truly at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's like, what are your conversion ratios Are they where they need to be based on the business plan that you set right inside of the app? And are you on track with the goals that you've set? What do you have to do to stay on track with the goals that you've set? Yes, some people are motivated by competition, and that's great. That's why that software is so powerful. But the reality is, it's designed to help somebody stay on track with the goals that they've set throughout the entire year. So they have the data, Colton, to make smart business decisions in a business that often we get very emotional. So
Absolutely.
let's get into pricing, right? Because I think maybe a lot of people have questions about that. Like, hey, how much does this cost? How do I get in? That was the other thing. We wanted to make this super, super affordable so that it didn't matter where you are at in your business. You're a veteran, you're a top 1%, or you just got licensed last night. We wanted to make this accessible to everybody. So there are two options. You can get into this for on our monthly plan, which is $97 a month, to which you can cancel anytime. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee because we believe that the value in which you get in exchange for $97 a month, which we believe is a very affordable, is an absolute no-brainer. And for those that are all in, which is the people that we typically like to serve, you could just make one payment, save $194, and make one payment of $970 per month. And so this is just a simple membership that you get to partake in that gives you the freedom and flexibility to join when you want. And the second that you maybe stop getting value, you can leave. Because here's a reality. If you're not getting the value, I wouldn't want you to stay, right? I mean, that's the truth and that's the reality. But at the same time, we wanted to create a world where it was, like I said at the beginning, I want to create a world where somebody can learn no matter where they're at in their business and not have constraints financially for them to participate in this. And I wanted this to be a community of top producers where they also can mastermind with one another. So that's the key thing. That's the piece that I would add on there. So if you want to add anything, great. If not, if you want to get into some Q&A, we can absolutely do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into some Q&A. Lots of really cool questions. If you want, I can kind of just go through them, tee up, go back to the top. Let's see
Well,
here.
before you do
Guys,
that too, so
yeah.
real quick, if anybody wants to get involved with this and you're ready to get signed up and you want to be part of the private mastermind, the doors are open. You can join right now. All you have to do is go to reverseselling.com/mastermind. That's all you have to do.
Yep.
I think Colton will put that in the comments. He'll put a link in there for you guys. And it's easy to sign up. You click a button and you can join and you can get started right away. Go ahead. I digress, Colton.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Our boy Keith Zimmer says he's already a member. Literally the best material he's ever had. Thanks, Keith, for the support. Let's see. Let me try and find a question.
And if there aren't any, that's fine too. Yeah.
No, there's a couple of them. I'm just kind of scrolling through. You tell me. We've addressed this in our coaching group already. So if you want to do it here publicly, we can. If not, we can refer them. But a couple people through the comment have kind of asked what the difference is between like our current coaching and the mastermind, and that they're in the coaching. So do they need this? Do you want to address that here?
Yeah, I would just say that the biggest difference is with coaching, it's the hands-on implementation, the time that I spend with people hands-on in a coaching relationship every single week. And that is not what this mastermind is. This mastermind is more so a place for, just like we've said, to come and learn from top producers. And it's to gain access to the training content that you may not find anywhere else. And so those are the two distinct differences. Coaching is the accountability and the implementation. And so it's a wildly massive difference. And so for different reasons, people may want to get into the mastermind and maybe they're not ready for an intense coaching relationship yet. Or somebody that is in coaching may want to mastermind with people, Colton, that aren't in our coaching community, right? And so I wouldn't say pros and cons. I would just say there's a massive difference between a mastermind group and a coaching relationship. They're kind of like night and day different.
Yeah. And also too the focus of the content where, the Listing Agent Academy, like our coaching program, primarily focused on direct outbound prospecting and that entire system. Whereas this is going to be more well-rounded in some of the other aspects. Like the next
Yes.
question, John Carr asked about do you teach how to use YouTube and increase awareness and get buyer and seller leads in
Great
this mastermind?
question. That is exactly what we're talking about, right? So the answer to that is yes. So when I talk about having, these online courses on the shelf, I mean, we're talking about everything from YouTube to converting buyer internet leads to building teams to building daily productive habits to, the one that gets released on July 1st is our client fulfillment system that's never been released before, which I believe is the number one lead generation strategy in our business that no one talks about. And so the client fulfillment flywheel, that's the course that comes out on July 1st. It's
Hmm.
a broad range of content, of online courses. And so I think that answers his question, but the answer is yes. And there's many more that are coming out. I mean, we're coming out with an online course every single month. And
Yeah.
so there's a variety of different topics.
Yeah, and two, another point, couple people asked like with the pricing, like how long is it going to stay like that or why is it priced like this? Maybe one thing to know, like the way we're doing this mastermind, it's not going to be one of those things where, hey, doors closed tomorrow, you better hurry up and get in. Like you guys can jump into this whenever. Just the plan, I think, Brandon, the first next couple of weeks here before the end of the month, it is going to be more affordable before we adjust some of the pricing. Is that right? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So because this is brand new and we wanted people that were interested to be able to participate in this and be part of growing it with the right people, with the right feedback, with the right content. Yeah, how long is it? I think the question, how long is it going to stay at $97 a month? I don't know. But we knew that we wanted to at least make it accessible to as many people as possible up front. So let me just really quick go back to the content question, right? Just as an example. So the big thing, right? So these are just some online courses that are coming out in the masterclass releases moving forward.
Yep.
Those would be like things like our real estate employee benefit program. That is a lead generation strategy that I've never talked about before ever. Demographic farming, never talked about that before. Our online seller lead funnel, our offer negotiation system, selling to different personality styles, blogging, high performance habits, our our focus course, our discipline course, our property marketing course, how to service sellers, our community domination system, our referral partner system, the YouTube system. All of these are just examples. Our mega open house system, our self image course, our objections mastery system, our reverse selling system, which I've yet to release still. And so these are just some examples of things that are going to be released um, throughout the year and the years ahead. The goal,
Yeah.
again, I just to be clear, is just imagine a world where, just like Netflix, this is why I'm calling it the Netflix of real estate training. You log into a private portal and you have just the step by step training on any area of the business. That's what we're talking about here. Now, coaching is the implementation, it's the accountability, it's the hands on support in implementing that. But step one is learning what to do. That's what this mastermind is all about.
Speaking of that, another really good question, and I mean, we've been asked this hundreds and hundreds of times over the last couple years, which, and I guess I'll read this exactly. This is from Monique. This won't be a regurgitation of stuff on your YouTube already, right? Because I've watched so many of your videos and gotten so much that way. So really, what's the difference between this and your YouTube channel? It's the question a lot of people ask, and it's a fair question.
Yeah, it's a great question, right? And so, listen, I get it, right? It's like Well, why would I do that if I just get all your YouTube stuff for free? I don't understand why I would even pay for that. Well, here's what I would respond. If if that was the case, then everybody should be getting great results. If everything I knew was on YouTube, then everybody in this right now should be winning at a high level. And it's not that I hold back on YouTube, but the reality, Colton, is this. For me to put in the nuance that I put into a training program, into a YouTube video, is just ridiculous. It wouldn't be possible for me to do that. You know, when I look at the nuance of what happens at a listing consultation and to try to include all of that into a YouTube video the way we have with our listing consultation course, I mean, I can sit here and say all of these things, but whoever asked that question, you'll have to be the judge for that.
Yep.
The feedback I've gotten from students is, I can't believe how deep you go. I can't believe how step by step and easy you've made it for me to implement these systems. And that's the feedback we've gotten. But whoever asked that would have to be the judge of that, right? They'd have to
Yeah.
go through the prospecting blueprint course to tell me, did you think that this was a YouTube video or did you think that this was different?
Well, and two, Matthew just commented, and he's actually in the Listing Agent Academy. He's been a coaching student of ours. He said the academy has so much more than his YouTube, and it's step by step. So to that, being in it and experiencing, you'll be able to kind of tell what the difference is. There's been a handful of questions, and they're asked different, but they're pretty much the same question, asking about like certain materials, like the FSBO backup plan or postcards and mailers. And Brandon, you feel free to add on to this, but anytime when we release a new course or masterclass every month, it'll have supporting material with it. So if we're teaching you the neighborhood domination strategy, we're going to give you the templates for those postcards. If we decide to go very deep on the FSBO system, we'll have the FSBO backup plan. So we're going to absolutely include the supporting material. But do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you hit it. Yeah. I mean, that's the other piece around, for me, it's a great question. That's why I love buying online courses,
Yep.
because it's people's greatest work in a digital format. Like, like what I mean by that is, like, let's look at Darren Hardy for a second. He's got YouTube videos, but he's got his courses, and he's got his coaching that I'm part of. And I buy everything he comes out with because it's so freaking good, and the supporting documents, the step-by-step format, the nuance and the context is the biggest thing that I think
Yep.
YouTube content leaves out, because most of the content on YouTube, whether that be from me or somebody else, it's just high level concepts. It's high level, you know, like ideas, right? And so I think that would be, but yes, to answer your question, supporting documents will be included with all of the online master classes every month.
Absolutely. I think we answered this earlier, but I just don't want to make people think we skipped them. A couple of people asked, is this included as a part of the Listing Agent Academy? No, this is something new. This is something separate from the
That's right.
actual coaching that we have.
Yep.
Let's see, Brandon, I don't know if you've been able to keep. Oh, AJ asked, when will the first monthly database letter be available? It is. It's in there now. So you've got all 4 emails for June, the YouTube title, topic, thumbnail combos, the letter, everything is available for June and July. Everything is ready on the first of the month. So next month's content for July, it'll be ready July 1st, right? Every masterclass is released the first of the month.
Yep. The only thing that doesn't come out on the first of the month is the live event. So the live
Correct.
virtual event, those are on the third Tuesday of every month. So like anybody that's part of it right now, we have our prospecting mastery mastermind event on Tuesday next week. But everything else comes out on the first of the month, to Colton's point. So all of the done for you content, the masterclass content, all of that comes out on the first.
Yep. Alvin asks, and Alvin, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but is the original reverse selling program videos included? I don't know exactly what you're referring to. It's not though, as far as I can understand your question.
No.
Um,
And just so you know, the actual reverse selling methodology, there's been bits and pieces that have been released, right? And so some of it's in the prospecting blueprint course right now inside of the portal, but the actual reverse selling system is yet ever been released. And so, I've been working on that for like 4 years, but I hope to release that in
Yeah.
2024.
And even the first masterclass in there, the prospecting blueprint, like Brandon, I'm gonna be a little vulnerable for you here. He was after reviewing it when we released it, he was a little insecure in the sense he's like, well, some of it looks kind of similar to the content we've done in the past in the coaching, but even our coaching students who jumped into Mastermind first went through that and they're like, oh my gosh, like this is all new, this is all different. And Brandon's been holding back on us with some of this stuff that's coming out, and it's getting exciting.
Well, it's the important thing for people to understand. It's like, okay, well, that's the job that I have. That's what I do is I write and I develop training
Yep,
content so that someone can go through a training step by step and through the training be able to implement it. Coaching then is the hands-on support from me, right? And so that'd be another differentiating thing between coaching and content.
absolutely. Let's see here. Zach asks, let's see, can I switch over from month to month payment plan to the annual whenever, or am I locked in? So yeah, there's no contracts on this. This is month to month. So even if you start on the payment plan and for whatever reason you don't see the value, you can cancel at any time, or you can always upgrade to the annual. We'll take care of you if you decide to jump on the annual.
Yeah.
Man, I think that's about it, guys. Last call here for any questions. I don't believe I missed any, hopefully. And
So,
if I did, just email
yeah.
us support@reverseselling.com. We're happy to answer any more questions if we missed any.
Yeah, and there's, the easiest thing is just go to our website. You just go to reverseselling.com and you can click on the link that says mastermind at the top of the website, or just go to reverseselling.com/mastermind. And all the details are there. But yeah, if you have any additional questions, just send us an email to support@reverseselling.com. But here's the thing, this is just the beginning. And how this thing grows and how this thing morphs in the future, I don't know, but it's something that we're very, very excited about. And the thing is, I wanted to make something that was uh, an unfair exchange of value. In other words, for the $97 a month, the value in which you will get in return, if it isn't like exponentially higher, then tell me, because I need to I need to quit immediately. I need to cancel it, shut it down. But like seriously, you know what I mean? That was our goal. Is you know in launching something like this, in growing a community like this, it has to be an unfair advantage for the member, because why else would you want to sit there and pay a membership month after month unless the return was just exponential? And
Yep.
that is our goal to deliver on. And I think that's totally transparent. It's the honest truth. And that is the goal.
Yep, absolutely. One more question rolled in here. I think this is good to address. Mary asked about the done for you packet, if it's state specific. It's not necessarily state specific. So, like, we're here in Michigan, kind of like the Metro Detroit area. So, we don't write it to where it's only about Metro Detroit. Then you're going to have to rewrite the thing for your area. We try to keep it, I don't want to say generic, that's not a good word, but applicable enough to most everybody. And we actually show you how to kind of make it your own. So while we do write them to where you could literally copy and paste it and just swap out city name for yours, we'll teach you kind of how to customize it a little bit and make it some more personal.
I would
Brandon,
say
one
it's
more
market.
time. Yeah.
It's
Oh, go
mar-
ahead.
it's market agnostic. It's like
Yeah,
doesn't
that's a
matter what
cool
it
thing.
is, right? And so the the tips and strategies or content or information that we're communicating is relevant to anybody who owns a house, whether that's in Tampa, Florida, or that's in San Diego, California. It would resonate with that homeowner no matter where they lived, and it wouldn't matter what market you were in.
Yep. Kate, we put it's reverseselling.com/mastermind. I'll put it in the chat again. And then Ashley asked what are game films. Those are our call reviews. So you can upload a video or audio of one of your prospecting calls. And every single month, we break those down, give some coaching and feedback on those.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. Like we don't, it's like we probably need to talk about that more. It's until you have one, words don't
Yeah.
really. Until you've had me break down one of your live prospecting calls and every word and every pause and your upswings and downswings, your tonality. Um, I think it's some of the favorite work that I do, quite frankly. And I put a lot into those game film reviews. But that's what those are. Those are live prospecting call reviews. And we have some people that drop the recording of their client meetings in there too. And I can break that down. It's probably some of the best coaching or feedback I can offer to an agent.
Absolutely. Well, we're slowing down here, Brandon. Any parting thoughts, parting words before we
No, I
jump off?
just, again, those that do decide to get involved, we love the feedback, right? So as as the mastermind grows, it only becomes more valuable because the people in it are willing to speak up. The people
Yes.
in it are willing to give feedback. And so I think the last thing I would say is we want to make sure that this is a mastermind of like-minded people. And so I would just say, to be fair to the people in it, like, I'll just shoot people straight. Like, if you're the victim type of, looking for handouts and not wanting to do any of the work, and the MFer that we often refer to, please don't join. Please.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's all I would say. I just want to be fair to the people in it. It's just, we want to try to protect it with great high value humans. And we have, and we've done that in our communities. But that's the only thing, Colton, I would say that makes me a bit nervous, because
Mhm.
it is so cost effective, that we want to protect the people in it, and we want to keep it special. And so everybody's invited except for MFers. If you identify as an MFer, you are not welcome.
Yeah, yeah. And hey, who knows? One day you will figure it out, but for now you're not invited.
Yeah.
Um that's about it, man. Do you want to stick around for a couple more questions? There's a
No,
couple
this
more
is
that are
great.
rolling in.
This is great. So this will live on YouTube. Again, if you have questions, go to reverseselling.com/mastermind, or send us a email to support@reverseselling.com. And for those of you that do get involved, we'll look forward to seeing you inside the mastermind. And we'll look forward to seeing you at our kickoff session next week. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you at our live mastermind event next week on Tuesday. So with that, I would say, have an awesome weekend. If you've earned the weekend, as I hope you have, rest, recover, have an awesome weekend do the things that you love with the people that you love. And I'm sure we'll see you guys next week. We appreciate the time.